Hey guys, Card Bros here. Shooting our first video. Wanted to touch on something quickly. I've got 6 cards here.
Okay, so why do we have these 6 cards?
So after being out of the collecting for a while, I noticed things really blow up over the past couple of years, and so I've kind of gotten back into picking up cards. We're buying boxes, we're doing breaks. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why you might want certain cards over others. There's certain cards, like, listen, a PSA 10 rookie of Giannis, everybody knows, even people who aren't in this business or for fun, they know who the hell that is.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about is for new collectors or people who don't, you're operating on a budget. You don't want to go out and spend thousands of dollars because you think you might turn it into more thousands of dollars.
Right.
And so the first card I've got here, it's a Devin Vassell Prism rookie card, and it's a green hologram here, and it's an auto as well. And so the reason I've got this card up, and it's from when he was at Florida State. Now he got drafted by the Spurs, and this is a good example of a card you can probably pick up on the relative cheap. It's not going to cost you a ton of money, and what you're actually buying here is, I don't want to call it a penny stock, but you're buying really low on something. And the reason you're doing that is you look at the team, the organization, the Spurs. They have a good track record. You might know that they've developed another forward who was taken actually outside the lottery in Kawhi Leonard. Then you got to look, you go a little deeper. Is this guy going to get enough playing time to make a name for himself? Because, if he doesn't, then this is hard. This might end up being kind of a worthless card in a few years. So he's on a young team. He's going to get minutes. He was their first round pick this past year. He was in the lottery. I think he was 11th. Card's not going to cost you a lot or something similar to this, but this is something nice to pick up where you can track his career, and you've got a good shot of picking up a player that I think could turn into something. Now, this next card is something that we just got in a box break. We're going to be posting the video shortly, and it's PJ Washington. Now, my brother's going to ask, why the hell do I care about PJ Washington or his funny teal jersey? Do you want to ask that for the audience?
No, you just did.
Okay, that's good. So, it's a nice card. It's a rookie remembrance card, so it is an insert from the 2021 NBA Hoops blaster box.
Is it a game worn or?
It is a game worn, and it does tell you that. So, PJ Washington's not going to be a household name right now. And so you're like, well, why would I get excited about this card? And kind of in the same vein as the Vassell card, PJ Washington is playing on a young, exciting team. And for a different reason, I would kind of be excited about this player in this card, because that's what it comes down to. These things are just derivatives of what the player does. So he's a guy who's getting really good minutes on a team with LaMelo Ball. Now, LaMelo got injured, but long term, he might get some of the shine from having a potentially transcendent player playing on his team. So don't think of this as a LaMelo Ball rookie, but think of this as LaMelo adjacent, because if his career takes off, he's in the same sort of time frame as LaMelo. He plays a position that's not redundant. So unlike Devontae Graham, he's not a guard that's going to lose his minutes to LaMelo. And potentially, if this team becomes something, him, along with LaMelo and along with Miles Bridges, could turn into something. It could be one of these teams that becomes exciting, a lot like the Thunder, circa, the late 2000s, so 2009, 2010, 2011. So moving on, I've got a Jaren Jackson Jr. Prism. Now, for obvious reasons, Jaren Jackson's been injured this year. He has some of the shine's worn off on him. And so you can pick up, this is a really good condition Prism card for him. It's a rookie. You can pick these up relatively cheap. Now, similar to PJ Washington, he's part of a really good young nucleus. And if you heard me just talk about the superstar shine of a LaMelo rubbing off on a PJ Washington, similar thing with Jaren Jackson, except Jaren Jackson is actually going to be a featured player. He's going to be, a number 1A or 2 scoring option on a team that potentially could make some noise in the West. That's why you would want a card like this. It's not Zion, it's not Luka, it's not one of the big guys, but it's a guy who could turn into something down the line. It's a buy low kind of proposition.
So is it fair to say that these 3 cards are like players that could become something great.
Yeah, and you can pick them up for cheap. Why are you in this, right? It's fun to open boxes, but if you want to collect some of these players, then it's fun to watch a career. You know, Zion, if you buy a Zion card and you spend a lot of money on it, you're almost afraid because you're already invested into it. You know, you've bought high. So now you're afraid because a guy like Zion, yeah, he could turn into a transcendent player or he could get injured and then he's like Antonio McDyess 2.0.
Great.
You know who Antonio McDyess is?
Yeah.
Who?
I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay? So, anyways, moving on. That's kind of the thought process behind these. Now, this next card that I can't pick up because I'm fat and I have butterfingers. It's an Anthony Edwards rookie card. It's a Rise and Shine card. Now, this isn't, you may have seen these floating around the internet. Some of these are serial numbered up to 25. This isn't one of those. It explicitly states on the back, it's not, they're not going to validate whether it's a game-worn jersey or not, but it is ultimately a rookie card. It is an insert of his. He was the number one pick. Now, he's not getting a lot of, no pun intended, shine because LaMelo got most of it earlier in the year. But you're probably looking at the Rookie of the Year here. And so if you're able to jump in on an Ant Edwards rookie card, you definitely should, because I think he's a guy, he'll get the Rookie of the Year. And that doesn't mean everything. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon was a Rookie of the Year. So it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be a superstar and your rookie card is going to command crazy numbers. But if you're getting early on this guy, he's on a team that right now hasn't done much. They're the crappiest team in the league. And so that might actually work out in your favor. So you might get an interesting card for something on the relative cheap. Now, moving on from there, we get over to my guy, Ja Morant. Now, I love Ja. I actually liked him a little bit better than Zion. Zion's having a much more transcendent year than him this year. He's having some shooting struggles, but the Grizzlies are a playoff team and New Orleans isn't. So at the end of the day, this is a really nice guy to pick up. I don't know if he's going to turn into Russell Westbrook 2.0, but these are the cards you're going to pay a little bit more for. But that's not the reason I have these here. The reason I have both of these guys here is these are second-year cards. We picked this up in an NBA Hoops box. And so the one here is a vanity plate. The other one is a jersey swap with him and Trae Young. Reason I like these cards, one, I like the look of the cards. At the end of the day, you're buying little pieces of art. You're going to probably hear me say this a lot if you're going to check out our videos. So if you like the card and you like the player, pick it up. You get to own a little piece of this guy and this guy's career without spending a ton. Same thing with the jersey swap card. So Trae Young, ideally, I'd like a jersey swap between him and Luka because I think they're going to be tied together forever because of the trade that put Dallas in a position to pick him where Atlanta traded out of that spot. But you're getting two really great young guards. With the way the league's going, these guys are going to score a ton of points. They're going to be league leaders in 15 or 20 years, barring injury. And I think if you get in early, you can get in cheap enough that it's worthwhile to buy these cards. If you can't, if you don't want to spend the money to get a Ja rookie or you want something a little bit different. That's really the thought process behind this, going from, players that are relative unknowns all the way through to the guys that everybody knows and everybody's trying to pick up. That's just my 2 cents, our 2 cents.
Yeah, mostly your 2 cents.
At the end of the day, I think collecting's is my... I get a lot of the oxygen. At the end of the day, collecting is about having fun, buying stuff that you like. Don't get too wrapped up. I think a lot of the videos out there are too focused on treating this as purely an investment play. It's too immature a market for that.
You should treat it as fun as well. I don't think it should be purely investment. I think you should enjoy what you're collecting and actually take some pride in what you're holding on to, right?
And that's the fun of this.
Yeah.